I believe I have the coil spring set up in a way that will work. Basically, I brought it up to the bottom. I put the top prongs facing on the highest point of the coil that I could find. Basically 2 coils or 1.5 coil off of the very top. So I got a hook here and the other hook is on this other side. You can't really see it from here, but got them hooked there. And then I went to the bottom and I'm trying to get as much gap in between as I can. So I got it on actually on the second coil that comes off the bottom. I got one arm, the long arm, on the second coil, and then the third arm is like half of a spiral. It's not tight yet, but I'm hoping it'll tighten up as I start to compress this spring, put some tension on it. I had to put a few spacers, and I'll show you when I get it all out and everything, if I can get it out. But I had to put a few spacers and washers on this bolt that feeds all the way through the center, just so it would make contact with this bottom bracket. I'm going to show you a little more once I get one out, and hopefully with success and in a safely manner. Then I'll be able to take it apart, show you how I put it in, how I took it apart, the spacers I had to use, what to look for, what not to look for, because these are a little finicky. You got to play around with them for a good minute. So we're going to go ahead and start trying to tighten it up, see if we can compress it a little bit, and if it's working, then I'll do a little more. Basically what we're looking for is like maybe compress it 3 inches, maybe 4, somewhere around that ballpark. And once we do compress it, if we do it and everything looks safe, then I'm going to jack this up with this floor jack on the bottom of this control arm. We'll jack it up just a little bit until I can remove the upper and lower ball joint castle nuts and try to remove the spindle completely. And then we'll be able to lower the jack, let the control arm kind of slide down towards the floor, and hopefully it'll be loose enough, that spring will be compressed enough to where I can pull it out. So here goes everything. Alright, so relocated it a little bit. Not very happy with it, but if I can get it to work, then yeah, as long as it gets out of there. I don't know, we're just kind of going with it, winging a prayer, hoping everything's going to work. I got the top 2 secured. They're pretty much the highest point I could go. The bottom 2, I got the long arm on like the second, maybe the second coil, 2.5 coils. Short arm's over here on this coil. And then basically we got one, that's where 2 coil. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 coils that we're trying to crunch together. That only leaves me a couple inches, 2.5 inches, really to compress. But at this point, I don't even give it stuffing. As long as it works and I can get it out of there. All 4 ears, dog legs, whatever you want to call them, all 4 hooks are hooked in. They got tension on them, all 4. Well, yep, all 4. So we're going to just crunch down on it until something breaks or it works. I know this is dangerous. I don't like doing it, per se. But we're going to continue on until I see something that's happening that shouldn't be happening. We're going to stop there, check all our legs, everything is tight, everything's hooked good. I'm going to check my washers, my spacers. Alright, now it seems like we're definitely getting to that point where you can see it compressing a little. Everything looks good, so we're going to continue on until we can't. But I'm going to back my face up a little bit. I don't want to have my face right up in there. In case something gets jiggy with it. I don't want nothing crazy happening here. We don't want no damage. I don't want no issues. I just want this damn thing to work. Okay, so far so good. Man, okay, we're definitely making some progress. Everything's looking good still. Spacers, washers. Well, we're definitely compressing it. At some point, that stud, the center bolt that goes through everything, at some point it's going to start hitting the top. And that's what I'm hoping we can get some of this compressed before we get to the maximum point. Because then we'd have to add more spacers or something. Some more washers. Everything so far is okay. I'm thinking maybe we've compressed a ½ inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch. Definitely not enough yet. So we're gonna continue on. If something does break, I just don't want it to shoot out and hurt y'all. Or me. Okay, what do we got going on now? All the ears are looking really good. I hope we're not hitting top yet with that bolt. I don't want to stick my face in there and look up. My luck, something will snap at that point. I don't see the coil coming off of the bottom of the A-arm yet. We're definitely compressing. And I think we got about 1 inch left, and then we'll be maxed out. Coil's still in there super duper tight, but I think our bolt is like touching the top, because I'm hearing a little bit of rubbing. Yeah, I think we're pretty much bolted and bottomed out, and that's not good, because that damn bolt's too long. So I'd have to loosen this all up again, cut maybe 2 inches off of this bolt, or add 2 inches of washers, spacers, something. And I've already added 1 spacer, about 2 inches. I've added 3 or 4 washers. At this point I could also drop or jack it up, take these castle nuts off, and maybe I got enough in there. Once I lower the spring I'd have enough, but if I didn't, then I think it'd be bad news, because I'd be in a position of this spring wanting to pop out of there at 100 miles an hour. Yeah, it's hard to say where we're at, where we're going. We probably got 1 inch compressed, 1.5 inches maybe compressed. You don't want to compress more than you have to, because that's a lot of damn tension on this stud, the pipe, and the washers, and the arms, and everything else. Oh, brother. Okay. I gotta think. I'm bottomed out. I'm hitting the top of the A-arm with that stud because it's too long. I've got to compress some, but I don't think I got it enough to get this spring out of there without some major damage. So I don't think I got enough room to drop this lower control arm down towards the ground and be able to get this spring out. I think I need at least another 1.5 inches, 2 inches compressed. In order to do that, we got to back everything out, start everything all over, and add spacers or something. Goodness gracious, it's always something, always something. So I'm gonna start loosening it, because we got too much tensioning on it. Everything grabbed good on that run. We're all good here, except we need a shorter center bolt or more spacers. if I could have got hooked a lower, like if I could have went one coil lower on everything, that might have been enough without hitting the top of the A-arm. May have had enough space at that point, but there was no way to do it safely. I had to come up to the second coil actually. So yeah, I just got to add some more washers or cut the stud. So we're going to back off that tension and regroup. That wasn't quite enough, but it was actually looking really good. So I'm happy to say we're on the right ballpark. We just got to add, I got all the tension off, but I've got to add some more spacers, I guess. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it out, kind of show y'all what we had, what we got, what I need to do for this application. See, this spring would work great for longer coil spring applications, but it's just a little too long for this Camaro's application. Okay, so here's what we got. We got this here, and this was hitting the top of the inside of the A-arm. I got this spacer on it. We got like 5 washers. I put this castle nut on there. She's solid, grade 8, and it's working good. I just need like another inch of spacer here, maybe 1.5 inches, or I can snip it 2 inches off here for this application. I really don't want to cut it, so I'm going to try to find some more spacers, more washers. We'll add there, and then start all over. So that's where we are, and I'll bring y'all back for when we get it set up. It's going to take me a while to find some more spacers, or if I had another spacer just like that, we'd be in business. So I'm going to look around, see what I got. Maybe I have to go buy something, and we'll come back and we'll rehook all this up, squeeze that together, take these castle nuts off, topper and lower ball joints, let that control arm down, yank that spring out of there, and continue on. We'll be back.